All right, coding 115. We're going to add the image we worked on last time to a web page, and I've put a folder on D2L, so let me close this, that you can download. It's called Images, and it's got some sample images in here that we're going to use for this exercise. I've also created a folder called web_images_MD, my initials, so use your initials, and I put my images folder inside of that. Okay. So I've also opened up in brackets the web template file that we've created early on, and we'll use that as our starting point. If for some reason you don't have this saved somewhere, just take a screenshot of it and type it in. It's just a very simple web page. I'm going to go ahead and save it into the folder I just created. So save as, so I can move it and go to my desktop and find my web images folder. So I don't want to put it in the images folder, I just want to put it in the web images folder, and I'm going to change the name to web_images.html. And there it is. So with that done, I'm going to go under, in brackets, open folder, and redirect brackets to my web images MD folder. And when I do that, it shows my images folder here with the images in it and my web images.html. So that's a good starting point. What we're going to look at right now is a current trend in web design is to put a big image at the top of a page. It's called a hero image sometimes, but it's just a big picture. And again, web trends and fads come and go, and this is just one of them that's current. So to do that, we're going to first just insert an image and see what it looks like. So to do that, we put in an image tag, img. The image tag wants minimally one piece of information. It wants to know what image I want to insert into the page. So I type src, which is the word source without vowels, equal, and then quotes around this file. It tells me I've got an images folder here. If I click on that, it's showing me the files that I've got in here. So I'm just going to start with the Canon picture that we ended up with last time. So it's the last one I saved in the last video was canon2.jpg, and just close my tag. Okay. I'm going to save that, Command S, and let's just see what it looks like. All right. There it is. It's big. We knew that when we looked at the pixel resolution. So I can scroll around in it. Okay. So by default it comes in at 100%, which is the image size. And again, depending on screen resolution and all those things, we don't know exactly what size that is, but we can look at it and see it's going to be different depending on what device you're looking at it on. So let's go into our style section and add a little style. And so we could do that by styling the image. So img, again we use the HTML selector, which is the letters we type inside the tag without the angle brackets, and then our curly braces, and we're going to make the width 500 pixels, and we're going to make the height auto. That means it will keep it proportional. And we'll save that and then preview it. So there's my same image, but now it's got a size. I've told it to display it at 500 pixels wide. And the height is set to auto, so it keeps it proportional. So I can change those numbers, so I'll close that, and change the size. In this case, if I really wanted it to be on a web page at this size, I could go back into Photoshop and reduce my file size by quite a bit. Because if I only need it to be this size, I've got way more pixels than I need to do that. But for now, we'll just keep it big till I know what I'm going to do with it, and then I can adjust the size accordingly. So let's put a variation on that, and we're going to add a div, and I'm going to call it wrapper. You can call it container if you like that better, and make sure that my image is actually inside that, so I have to move the end tag down here, and I should copy and paste it. I did copy and paste it. I should have cut it and pasted it. So now my image is inside of there, and I'll save that. And instead of the width being 500 pixels, I'm going to make the width 100%. So 100% refers to the container of the image. So in the HTML hierarchy, we've made these various things, that most of which make boxes, though the box is not a tag, but the body makes a box, div makes a box, image basically makes a box, and I could also tab that over just so I remember that it's inside of the wrapper. So its size is going to be the size of the wrapper. So it's 100% of the size of the wrapper. How big's the wrapper? Well, by default, all these boxes that we make they take their width from their container. In this case, it's the body, which is simply the browser window. So the wrapper is going to be the size of the browser window, which means my image will also be the size of the browser window. So we'll save that and go back here, and I'll refresh my page, and there it is. And now it fills the width of the window. And if I resize my window, the picture changes with it. So it's 100% of the window, but the user can resize the window. The height adjusts to stay proportional with the width. I can also see there's a little white space around the edges. So let's deal with that first, just so we know. And that's coming from a margin on the body, it turns out. So if I go to my body tag and style that a little bit, I'm going to make margin : 0. Again, just type margin and put 0. It's going to refer to the top, right, bottom, and left margins. So when I save that and go back to my page, now my image goes right to the edge of the screen. All right, I put this in the style sheet. You could also add height and width into the image tag, but in general, we want to avoid putting this style information into the HTML part of our document, because it makes it much harder to find and to update when we want to change things. So the question is, or a question is, what happens if I have more than one image on the page? So I'm going to add another image. And this time I'll do src equal, and I'll go into my images, and let's do the small Mona Lisa. And this is just a cropped picture I pulled off the web, and it's a section of the Mona Lisa. So save that and go back to my preview page here. And there it is. Okay. So this one is a different size original image, and it's still going to scale, and as I make it bigger and bigger by making my window bigger, when I look at it now, I can see it's not a great image. And what's happening is the pixels are getting enlarged. I don't have enough pixels in the image really to display a quality image at this size. It will still do it, but it's just inserting basically repetitive pixels to fill in the space that it doesn't know what color it's supposed to be. My Canon, on the other hand, actually has quite a bit of resolution because it was a fairly wide file to begin with. We remember the dimensions, 4,000 pixels. This one is much fewer, many fewer pixels, so it doesn't look that great. Yeah. So that's a downside side of enlarging images just by changing their width. I need to think about the original resolution. How much resolution do I have in the image? And that's why, in general, we first open our images inside of an image editor like Photoshop so we can examine the image and see how much resolution it has. So let's do that quickly for our Mona Lisa image. So I'm going to go to open up Photoshop, and then I will open up this file and we'll see what it looks like. So File, open, and go to my desktop. Images. So we did Mona Lisa small, and I open it, and there it is. Get my display back here to. I don't want it full screen. I want it to fit on the screen. Oh well. Anyhow, so for some reason, let me see if we're still zoomed in here. So there's my image. We go to our image size again and see what we've got. Well, we've got 72 pixels per inch. That's fine for a web image, but it's only just under 300 pixels wide. So that's not very big. If I convert that to inches, so let's put our cursor down here and go to inches. It's like 4 inches wide. So again, that's not an exact measurement of anything because there's so many things that affect resolution, but it does tell me that when I blow this up on my web page, I'm going to see a poor quality image. So again, if I blow it up here, I can see the individual pixels. Go to Command 1. That's the size that it would like to display it at a quality resolution. So if I put it that size on my web page or something close to it, I'm fine. But if I blow it up very much, it starts getting lower quality. Simply because it has to make up all those intermediate pixels because the original information is not in the file. And so we're going to go back to actual size. So we will close that. And there it is on our page. So if I wanted an image like this on my page, and this was all I had, then I just can't use that image and make it big. I would need to go find a better image. And so we will change this small to big and save that, because we also have a big file, a larger file available. And with this one, I can see more detail in the image. I can start to see the crackle in the paint and things that just weren't available. Because this one, the original image is much larger. And if I want to see its actual size, I could go into my web images. I could open up in Photoshop. You can also go to the Finder and click on a file, and it will give you the dimensions. So this one, instead of being 300 pixels wide, is almost 4 times as big as that. It's 1100 pixels wide. So I could display this, basically the same image, but it was just saved for different purposes at different sizes. And so both of these I found on the web. One was a sort of a thumbnail image. The other was a bigger image. So what's really important is the dimensions of the original image. And that's going to determine really how big you can go with the picture to make it look good. Notice also that in our code here, because I set the width to 100%, it applies to all images. Because this, I'm just saying, style image tags this way. If I wanted to have these images display at different percentages or resolutions or something, there's several ways I could do it. One is I could add a class, and I'll say class equal 100. Okay. And in my style, I'll do image, and to do a class we do a period, so period 100. And now I'm telling it to make the Canon 100% and the Mona Lisa will be its default size. So if I look at my page now, my Canon's going the full width of the window, and it will scale with the window. The Mona Lisa is not 100% anymore, so it's just going by its natural pixel dimensions, and it gets cropped when I make the window smaller. But my bigger image scales with the window. So that's what sizing by a percentage does. And again, by default, it's telling me this is the optimal size to display this image at. If I enlarge it more than this, it's going to lose detail. And again, you can get away with a little bit of that, but if I like double the size or something of it, it's not going to look very good. All right, so let's save this. And in the next video, we'll add a couple more images, and then I will give you an assignment to do something with these images so we get an idea of how to put things on the page and style them in various ways. We will also look at how to add a image as a background to one of these boxes, like a div. So we'll stop this here.